Life alongside a Sigma male can be a mystery to many. His way of acting, cutting ties without prior warning and distancing himself when least expected, is something that few understand at first glance. But behind this apparent coldness, there is a mind that values his mental peace, time, and genuine relationships above all else. At Official Sigma Male, we want to unveil this enigma and help you understand why. When a Sigma male decides to walk away, it's not an emotional reaction, but a calculated decision rooted in values like authenticity, respect, and personal growth. Do you want to uncover the truth behind these behaviors and learn how to apply these lessons to your own life? Then subscribe and be part of this community, where together we'll explore the power of living with purpose and authenticity. The calculated decision of a Sigma male. When a Sigma male cuts ties with you, it's not an impulsive decision or one made out of emotion. On the contrary, behind this seemingly cold action is a calculating mind that prioritizes his well-being and mental peace. Imagine a chessboard where every move is carefully thought out. The Sigma male observes, analyzes, and if he sees something in you that threatens his peace, he won't hesitate to distance himself. This ability to act without being driven by emotions is what makes him a mystery to many. Sigma males possess a keen perception, an emotional radar that allows them to detect falsehoods and inconsistencies in those around them. He quickly picks up when someone isn't genuine or is hiding intentions. If he senses a mask in your words or actions, his response will be to withdraw silently, without unnecessary confrontations or drama. It's a defense mechanism he's developed to protect himself from toxic or superficial connections that only drain his energy. After all, why invest time in a relationship that doesn't offer authenticity? Moreover, respect is a non-negotiable value for the Sigma male. It's not just about being polite or courteous. For him, mutual respect is the foundation of any genuine relationship. If he feels disrespected or senses that his values aren't being honored, he won't wait for a miraculous change in your attitude. He'll simply walk away, leaving a silent lesson on the importance of personal dignity. This approach may seem unsettling, but for the Sigma, it's simply his way of upholding high standards in every interaction. The sharp perception of Sigma males. Sigma males have a distinct skill, a perception so sharp it almost seems intuitive. This radar lets them detect dishonesty and questionable motives, allowing them to read people with clarity few can match. If someone shows friendly behavior, but their actions suggest otherwise, the Sigma will notice it immediately. He doesn't need to confront or ask for explanations. His intuition gives him enough information to decide when to maintain his distance. This sense protects him from relationships that don't bring positive value. For a Sigma, authenticity is essential. He doesn't expect everyone to be perfect, but he does expect honesty. If he senses someone is acting or trying to manipulate him, his response will be simple and direct. He'll step away. This might seem abrupt to those who don't understand this trait, but the Sigma isn't willing to expend energy on connections he finds false or forced. He prefers to surround himself with people who reveal their true intentions without games or masks. An example of this perception can be seen in his everyday relationships. If he's involved in a superficial conversation or notices overly polite gestures that feel fake, a Sigma will quickly pick up when something doesn't add up. If he pulls away without an obvious reason, it could be because he's noticed something that others wouldn't even detect. This type of perception is a tool to safeguard his peace and keep people around him that he can fully trust. Protecting mental energy. For a Sigma male, mental energy is a precious and limited resource that must be protected. He's not the type to tolerate people who drain his vitality or create constant conflicts for no reason. This type of energy is what allows him to pursue his goals and live with clarity. So when he feels that someone is depleting his energy without adding anything meaningful, his natural reaction is to pull back from that relationship. It's not personal, it's a form of self-care and respect for his well-being. This focus on preserving mental energy means setting clear boundaries in his relationships. A Sigma isn't willing to listen to constant complaints or engage in pointless drama. He prefers to dedicate his time to people who add value and don't demand his attention endlessly. If you've ever wondered why a Sigma seems to disappear from your life without explanation, it might be because he sensed that your presence was affecting his balance and inner peace. A clear example of this attitude is how the Sigma avoids toxic situations or work environments that emotionally drain him. Rather than stay out of obligation, he seeks spaces where he can thrive without feeling his energy being drained. This choice may seem harsh or insensitive, but for the Sigma, it's simply a priority to keep his mind clear and focused on what truly matters. Respect as a fundamental pillar. For a Sigma male, respect is something that isn't negotiable or sacrificed under any circumstances. It's not just a value he appreciates, it's the foundation of all his relationships. If he feels that someone doesn't respect his boundaries, beliefs, or way of seeing life, he won't hesitate to walk away. He won't argue or try to make that person change. For the Sigma, the best response to disrespect is to simply disappear without drama or explanations. This importance of respect reflects in how he builds his bonds and who he allows into his close circle. It's not enough to be polite. There must be a genuine connection based on mutual consideration. A Sigma male may be reserved, but he observes carefully and notices when someone treats him superficially or tries to impose their will on him. For the Sigma, the relationships that are worth it are those where respect flows naturally and effortlessly. A clear example of how respect guides his life can be seen in his professional interactions. If he feels that his skills or time aren't valued, he won't hesitate to seek new opportunities. For the Sigma, there's no time to waste on places or people who don't appreciate what he has to offer. This ability to leave without looking back is what makes many see him as relentless, when, in reality, he's simply defending his dignity. Preference for deep connections. For a Sigma male, shallow relationships hold little significance in his life. He's not interested in filling his social circle with people he can only have trivial conversations with or meaningless interactions. His preference will always be for depth in every bond, seeking out people he can have meaningful, authentic conversations with. If he senses the relationship is becoming routine and superficial, he'll distance himself without hesitation, prioritizing quality over quantity in his connections. This inclination toward depth leads him to avoid gatherings or situations where everything feels like a facade. A Sigma doesn't enjoy small talk or social gatherings that don't add value to his life. If he finds himself in a conversation filled with empty topics, he'll likely prefer to leave rather than stay in something he sees as a waste of time. This behavior may lead others to see him as reserved or even distant, but in reality, it's about his need to be surrounded by people with whom he can genuinely connect. For example, at a social event where many enjoy casual conversation and light-hearted laughs, the Sigma will be seeking a conversation that makes him think or challenges him. If he doesn't find it, he'll leave as calmly as he arrived. He doesn't need social approval and isn't afraid to be seen as solitary. For him, authenticity is more important than the appearance of sociability. Value alignment as key. For a Sigma male, value alignment is essential in his relationships. It's not about both people thinking the same way about everything, but there has to be coherence in principles and life goals. If he senses that someone's values are constantly clashing with his, he'll choose to distance himself. This distancing isn't a judgment or a rejection. It's a way to avoid conflict and protect his own vision of life. This search for alignment makes him selective about his friendships and connections. He prefers to surround himself with people who share his ideals, or at least respect them, avoiding the need to constantly explain or justify himself. He doesn't want to convince anyone of his way of thinking. He simply chooses to relate to those on a similar wavelength. This can sometimes make him appear exclusive, but in reality, it's just a way of living in peace. A clear example of this alignment can be seen in areas like personal growth or ethics. If a Sigma sees someone in his circle acting against his principles, such as lacking integrity or disrespecting effort, he'll consider that relationship has no future. He won't criticize or try to change the other person. He'll simply withdraw. For him, surrounding himself with people who share his values is a way to strengthen his own path. Rejection of manipulation and hidden agendas. Sigma males have a natural aversion to manipulation and any kind of hidden agenda. They are extremely skilled at detecting when someone is subtly trying to influence their decisions or control their actions. This rejection of manipulation comes from their deep appreciation for authenticity and transparency. If he senses that someone is trying to take advantage or drive a relationship based on hidden interests, he won't hesitate to cut ties swiftly and decisively. This trait makes him immune to certain power plays that others might overlook. A Sigma doesn't need a direct confrontation to understand what's going on. His instincts and perception allow him to pick up on these patterns in others' gestures, words, or attitudes. When he identifies manipulation, his response is to step away without explanations. This might leave the other person feeling unsettled, but the Sigma prefers to distance himself rather than waste time clarifying what, to him, is a serious offense. In the professional world, for instance, a Sigma will quickly notice when someone tries to manipulate his actions for personal gain. He won't remain in a situation where he feels he's being used. He'll seek an environment where his contribution is genuinely valued. For the Sigma, life is too precious to spend in relationships or environments where manipulation and dishonesty take center stage. The priority of personal growth. Personal growth is an absolute priority for the Sigma male. His life revolves around constant improvement and pushing his own limits. He's not content with what he already knows or the achievements he's reached. He's always looking for ways to learn and evolve. This drive leads him to surround himself with people and environments that promote his development. If a relationship or situation doesn't contribute to his growth, the Sigma would rather distance himself and seek paths that push him to be better each day. This pursuit of growth makes the Sigma avoid stagnant relationships, where he feels there's no room to learn or move forward. He can't stand the feeling of being held back by something or someone, as his nature drives him ever forward. If he senses that someone doesn't share his vision of evolution, or worse, tries to demotivate him, he'll distance himself permanently. For him, life is too short to stay in places or with people that don't add to his development. A clear example is in his choice of friendships and environments. Rather than surrounding himself with people content with routine, the Sigma seeks those who challenge norms, learn new things, or embark on new ventures. These are the people he values and with whom he feels a true connection. It's not arrogance, it's a need to keep growing. This is his path, and he's not willing to stray from it for those who don't share his vision. Disconnecting from unnecessary noise. For a Sigma male, unnecessary noise represents distractions he prefers to avoid at all costs. This noise isn't just physical sounds, but also interactions and commitments that hold no real value. It's not uncommon for a Sigma to distance himself from situations or people he considers noise in his life. those that bring conflicts, gossip, or meaningless drama. He values his tranquility so much that he won't hesitate to disconnect from anything that could divert his focus from his real goals. This approach is evident in how the Sigma manages his time and relationships. He avoids social gatherings that only drain him or conversations that add no real significance. He prefers moments of solitude or meetings with the few people who truly matter, instead of being surrounded by crowds where depth is absent. Disconnecting from this noise allows him to concentrate better and ultimately be more productive and happier. For example, on his social media, a Sigma won't hesitate to filter or remove people who bring only negativity or distraction. For him, this is an act of self-care, not arrogance. This ability to filter what truly matters is one reason Sigma males are often seen as distant or selective. In reality, they know their energy is limited and prefer to reserve it for what really counts. The importance of authenticity and transparency. For the Sigma male, authenticity and transparency are essential in any interaction. He doesn't seek perfect people or expect everyone to agree with him. What really matters is that those in his life are genuine and don't hide their intentions. This desire for authenticity is so strong that when he detects hypocrisy or falsehood, the Sigma will withdraw without hesitation. To him, a relationship is only worth it if it's based on honesty, even if that means facing uncomfortable truths. This emphasis on transparency allows him to build deep, lasting connections where he doesn't have to worry about hidden agendas or empty words. The Sigma values those who reveal their true selves without filters or appearances, and can recognize when someone is showing who they really are. This not only strengthens his relationships, but also saves him time by avoiding bonds that would eventually prove unsustainable. An example of how he practices authenticity can be seen in his friendships. He prefers to have few friends, but ones who are honest and direct, rather than a large social circle full of superficiality. If you tell him the truth, even when he may not like it, you'll gain his respect. But if he senses you're only saying what he wants to hear, he'll quickly lose interest in the relationship. For the Sigma, transparency is non-negotiable. It's the foundation of a life at peace with himself and with others.